From the High Definition Production Center of Troy University's Broadcast and Digital Network and Troy campuses around the world, this is Troy TrojanVision News.
Hello and welcome to Troy TrojanVision News for April 10th, 2015. I'm Samantha Kokan.
And I'm Jordan Elston. Thank you for joining us this evening. Alabama lawmakers are getting pressure from some parents in the state over the current Common Core standards for education. This week, some parents and students voiced their concerns over their standards. Felicia Payne has the details from our Trojan News Center in Montgomery.
Since 2010, public grade schools in the state of Alabama have been using a Common Core standard known as the Alabama College and Career Ready Standard. But now a new bill proposed in the state Senate would eliminate the use of Common Core and revert back to the standards set in place beforehand.
Now there has been the movement to repeal the standards. For that to happen means that we would go right back into No Child Left Behind.
It would help us, like I said, understand better why we have to do these steps.
Parents and teachers gave testimony at the public hearing, along with students who are taking classes taught under the Common Core standards. Those supporting the appeal said that the Common Core standard is hindering students in the state of Alabama in national competitiveness.
Common Core has just been an inferior. It's dumbing them down. It's putting them back, you know, we're going to fight that. We want to fight for our children. We want to stand in the gap for them.
While those who oppose the appeal say that the Common Core allows students to learn in a different way, but that is not necessarily a bad thing.
There is a part of it to say that with parents having difficulty with the homework, that may be a good thing, that we would not look to our schooling 30 to 40 to 50 years ago and have a ready answer for everything.
We're moving our kids forward. I have no desire to go backwards.
While support from parents and teachers is high on both sides of the argument, the committee must now decide whether or not the bill will be passed and put on the ballot in the next elections. And that vote will take place next Wednesday, April 15th at the State House. In Montgomery, Felicia Payne, Troy TrojanVision News.
Alabama adopted the current Common Core standards in November of 2010.
Troy University students got to show off their speaking skills today in a friendly competition with their fellow Trojans in the annual forensics tournament. Victoria Sabinina has the story.
The captain of my soul. Thank you.
The Whole School of Journalism and Communication invited all Troy University students to participate in the 24th annual speech tournament. The professors and students explained how it benefited them.
For any student, the opportunity to speak in front of a group is really so helpful and so important for life skills that we would like to have everybody who's a student here participate.
Always really enjoyed public speaking. I'd like to have something to put on my resume, because in the future I would actually like to carry this out into maybe a part-time career or full-time.
It is a great opportunity for students, English and Spanish-wise, to just get in front of an audience and speak and just get some experience speaking to a crowd.
Participants of the tournament had a chance to show their rhetorical skills and also compete for the $500 scholarship.
The prizes, there's for the overall best speaker who is eligible to receive a scholarship, it's a $500 scholarship for tuition for next year. Third place gets a recognition and pin. Second place gets a nice trophy / frame and a pin, and first place gets a great trophy.
Some of the speakers decided to try themselves in special topics, Spanish prose and poetry, that made them closer to the Hispanic culture.
A couple years ago, we decided to have Spanish, and we started out with 3 or 4 people competing, and this year our largest 2 categories are Spanish prose and Spanish poetry.
With Spanish, sometimes the hardest part is speaking it, and speaking it in front of other people. And so this helps, helps us to speak fluently, to speak in front of an audience, to work on our pronunciation.
The results of the tournament were announced later Friday afternoon. Victoria Sabinina, Troy TrojanVision News.
This is the 24th year Troy University has held the forensics tournament. One might not necessarily associate rock and roll and partying with business and economics classes.
That's right, Samantha, but last night Troy Sorrell College of Business mixed all of those elements as a way to get students more interested in the college. Shantia Wilson has the story.
When you think of the word geek, nothing cool comes to mind. However, Thursday night, the Sorrell College of Business gave a new meaning to the word geek as they held their first Geek Fest.
Geek Fest is really an awareness campaign for our students here on the Troy campus to become more aware of the Sorrell College of Business and our mission. GEEK actually stands for globally aware, engaged with real-world business, ethical decision makers, knowledgeable to compete and succeed in the business world. So we're hopeful that tonight students will come out, have fun, and learn more about the college.
The Sorrell College of Business held a concert on the Bibb Graves Quad featuring the Park Band. Dean Edwards of the College of Business said it was a fun way to get students engaged.
I wanted to have something that our students could really begin to build a culture around the product. In the end, we produce students, and so we want to make sure all of our students they're globally aware, they're engaged with the business community, they're ethical decision makers, and they have a knowledge to be successful. So that's our GEEK program, but again, it's just a way to have some fun with our overall strategic plan for the college.
The Geek Fest had a great turnout with faculty, students, and members of the community in attendance. One student shares her experience.
I'm actually having a lot of fun. I volunteered to help out, hand out t-shirts and stuff to business majors. So we're just trying to promote the business college in general and try to recruit people that aren't business majors, and I'm just having fun listening to Park Band.
Shantia Wilson, Troy, TrojanVision News.
If any students missed the Geek Fest but still have questions about the Sorrell College of Business, you can visit their offices in Bibb Graves Hall.
And now, taking a look at news from around the state. A Birmingham man has been sentenced to serve life in prison after he was convicted in the 2012 killings of 5 men found dead in a home. A judge sentenced 20-year-old Rashad Stoves yesterday to serve 6 life sentences. He was charged with 1 count of capital murder for each man killed and a 6th count for a multiple slaying.
Alabama Governor Robert Bentley says he will veto any state budget that includes the draconian cuts that would be required without tax increases. In a speech today, Bentley continued to press for public support for his $541 million tax proposal for lawmakers. He says the need is actually much higher.
And forecasters have confirmed a second tornado spawned by storms that hit North Alabama last week. The National Weather Service office in Huntsville conducted a field survey this week and determined a weak EF0 tornado touched down briefly on April 3rd near Fife in DeKalb County.
Still to come on Troy TrojanVision News, the women's golf team is gearing up for the conference tournament. Colin Cahill of that and more in sports.
And we'll have the latest details on a shooting in South Carolina after the break, so stay with us.
Residents in a South Carolina town are calling for transparency after an officer shoots and kills an unarmed man. I'm Omar Villafranca in North Charleston. That story coming up.
Looks like it's done.
Don't let salmonella get funky with your chicken. On average, 1 in 6 Americans will get a foodborne illness this year. You can't see these microbes, but they might be there. So learn the right temperature to cook each type of meat. Keep your family safe at foodsafety.gov.
Mom, can we get some ice cream?
Please, Mom, please.
No, we're having dinner soon.
Please.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of children in foster care who will take you just as you are.
Now, the latest in Trojan sports on Troy TrojanVision Midday.
The men's baseball team will play host to Arkansas State this weekend for a 3-game series. After losing a midweek matchup to Kennesaw State by a final score of 3-2, the Trojans' record is now at 17-17. The Trojans are looking to win their 4th straight Sun Belt Conference series. The Trojans are currently in 7th place in the Sun Belt, while the Red Wolves are in 2nd to last place with an overall record of 13-17 and a conference record of just 4-10. The Trojans are 26-9 all-time against Arkansas State and have an 8-4 record against the Red Wolves at home. The first game of the series was scheduled for tonight, but has been postponed due to the weather. The Trojans will play a doubleheader Saturday starting at 2 p.m. and then Sunday to finish the series. The Trojan softball team continues its road trip as they travel to San Marcos, Texas this weekend to take on the Texas State Bobcats. After winning a 2-game series at Southern Miss, the Trojans are now 24-17 on the year. The Trojans used the long ball to help win 2 close games at Southern Miss earlier this week. The Trojans have only 41 home runs on the year. The Trojans are currently 17-5 in conference play and are in 4th place. This will be the first meeting between the two teams this year. The Bobcats are 1 spot behind Troy with a record of 6-5 in conference play. The Trojans are riding a 6-game winning streak heading into the weekend. The Trojans will play a doubleheader on Saturday and then finish the series with 1 game on Sunday. The Troy men's golf team returned home after competing in the Old Waverly Classic that was hosted by Mississippi State earlier this week. The team finished the tournament in 13th place out of the total of 15 teams. Toval Georgia led the team with a 22nd place finish. The Trojans struggled on the first day and could never recover for the rest of the weekend. This was the lowest finish for the spring season. Troy dropped 8 spots in this week's Golf Week rankings and are now ranked 55th in the country. The men will have 1 week to prepare for the Sun Belt Conference tournament, which is set to be played in Destin, Florida at the Raven Golf Club. Troy is now the 2nd highest ranked team in the conference, only behind Georgia Southern, which is ranked 44th. The women's golf team is getting ready for the Sun Belt Conference Championships. This year is a little different for the team as they are in uncharted waters as they are the defending Sun Belt champions. But Coach Bart Barnes tells us that it is those memories of last year that will bring comfortability to his players.
It's a course we're familiar with, obviously going back, there after last year. We got some good memories and some fond memories. We've played well down there. I think it suits our games. With our players, I think they're comfortable there. So looking forward, we're really excited. We got a lot of work to do. We're going to be prepping really hard and practicing a lot to get ready. But I think we know what we need to do for that, and I think the girls are just genuinely excited and ready to get going.
The team will head to Loxley, Alabama and compete in the tournament throughout the first 3 days of next week. The Trojans are picked by Golf Week to repeat as champions again this year.